Firstly, how does it feel just being back in the UK?
It's pretty good. It feels nice. It's been good to spend time with the family, but it's also weird. I mean, obviously our season finished a lot earlier than what I'm used to and a lot earlier than what we would have liked over there in Graz. But so from that point of view, it's strange, but no, it's nice to be back home. And Jade's back down in Barry now as well, so she's actually home, and I'm still obviously with the parents and up here in Nottingham.
We'll kind of come to everything that happened in Graz in a bit, but just want to take you back. So when did you get that offer from the 99ers and what kind of made you take it?
Well, we first started speaking. I think it was before the first Challenge Cup semi-final leg in Belfast. It's semi-final or quarter-final. Whenever we played Belfast, it was the first leg in Belfast, and it was the night before where we first made contact, and that I believe was back in December time. And obviously the European leagues they run slightly different to the elite league. They sign players over like December, January, February time, or they did then. Obviously now with COVID, that's changed things. The offer came through just before the Challenge Cup final, actually, which I signed then. It all happened kind of. It seemed to take ages, and then all happened really quick all of a sudden out of nowhere.
I remember seeing on Twitter when you were posting pictures of driving out. Like that must have been so exciting to be like driving to another country to play and to live.
Yeah, definitely. It were a lot of excitement to be fair, both me and Jade. I think I was probably a bit more apprehensive for the fact that Jade obviously had to leave a business back in Barry and shut it down, obviously with the unexpectedness with COVID and not knowing what's really going to happen. But at the same time, it was a new venture, a new experience for us all. It was one thing that it definitely ended up being a life experience.
I was going to ask about Jade because for you, you get 22 new friends the minute you go to another team. How difficult of a decision is that to make to take your partner to another country as well?
Well, you never want to really spend a year apart. That's one thing that factored into my decision. I didn't want to leave Jade at home and leave Stitch at home as well because I'd probably miss him just as much as Jade. So I can't say more because then I get in trouble with her. But no, I mean she were awesome. I mean you have to have a good balance in family life to be able to play well and play at your best. You have to know that everyone back at home's happy. And yeah, that was my biggest worry probably from the start. It's the fact that obviously I'm going to be around 20 odd guys, got my family in that dressing room kind of thing, like you do at any team, and you're around them every day. Whereas she's obviously going to be in the apartment with no family around. Obviously there's the girlfriends and that there, but she had to make new friends. And yeah, her family couldn't come out, my family couldn't come out, so that kind of made it a little bit worse, a little bit harder for her. And I think yeah, there were probably a couple of months where I think all the stress finally got to her with my injury and everything that happened over there. And yeah, she had a couple of rough months, so that wasn't nice to see. But she got over that. She's pretty strong, and I think overall we both really enjoyed it.
So you have your debut in Graz. You play the game in Linz and play really well from what I remember. Then the Dornbirn home game. And Oliver Setzinger pushes Daniel Vogel into you and you go down. Talk me through that night and that week.
Well, yeah, it was pretty crazy to be fair. I didn't have the best preseason. Obviously, adapting to a new style, new experience, put a bit too much pressure on myself for preseason and didn't set off to a good start. But yeah, the league started when it mattered. We came big. I mean, we had the big win against Farivar in the first game. I think that was about something like 6-4, and Farivar are just a really offensive team, just all breakaways, odd man rushes. So obviously for a goalie, it's a little bit stressful. So to get that win, big monkey off my back. Yeah, Linz, I think we lost 2-0. But one of them with the empty net goal, so I gave us a chance, did my job. And again against Dornbirn, we came out and they were all over us actually to start with, and I was playing well. And then obviously that incident happens and the guy runs straight through me, hit me really hard. But I actually absorbed it pretty well, and I can just remember him sat on my leg and I could feel the pressure building in my knee, and then obviously the pop, and I knew exactly what it was straight away. I mean, probably it was the first year we won the league in Sheffield. I'd had the same thing with a torn ligament in my ankle, so I knew exactly what that sensation was. And it's not the most painful thing, but it's more the mental side of things because you know straight away something's gone, something's bad, and that's probably the worst thing. So yeah, I mean that got sent to hospital straight after that. They took my temperature in the ambulance on the way, and it was about 39 degrees. So obviously they thought I got COVID for a second. I'm like, no, I've just come off of ice. That's why I'm hot. And luckily by the time we got to the hospital, it were down to normal range, and they saw me and they told me, well, even in the hallway straight after, they said your season's done, 8 to 10 months. And then at the hotel, they looked at the knee. The doctor said the same thing, 8 to 10 months, you're going to need surgery. And obviously that's when your heart just kind of sinks a little bit. They're definitely, obviously not afraid to admit there were a few tears about that, and it was definitely stressful. But I mean, the one thing that I could kind of take was the fact that it was nothing on my part that I could have done to make it any better. It wasn't like I'd not warmed up, wasn't like I wasn't fit. or in shape or anything like that. If that happens to anyone at that speed, at that impact, it's going to end up in the exact same outcome.
How do you deal with that though? You must go to bed at night and just, don't want to swear, but you must just think, crap.
Yeah, it's frustrating, especially when it's not your fault. Like I said, it makes it easy to accept, but it also makes it harder. And yeah, it's obviously the wait for the MRI to come back was a big. It was only a few days, but it felt like forever.
Was it also especially tough because you were dealing with that in another country? The health system's different, the language is different. They talk to each other and then talk to you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously the speaking German and I know tiny little bits, but not enough to hold a conversation. The speed that they speak at, like I presume when those English guys speak at our speed, they wouldn't be able to understand us either. So, yeah, they talk to each other and then they say stuff. You think, well, are they telling me the full story or not? And they did actually say after the MRI that there could be a possibility that I'd make it back. When I saw another doctor, he said, we'll give you some plasma injections as long as you're all right with that to speed the healing. And you never know, it might be all right, but at the end of the day, it was a torn MCL and a partially ruptured ACL, which for a goalie, for anyone, it's not good. But for a goalie, you use your MCL that much, that weren't the best. And to be fair, the doctor that gave me the injections, he was really good, to be fair, and he explained a lot.
But against kind of all odds with the original diagnosis, you did come back. How was that journey to get back, if not a little prematurely in the end?
Yeah, definitely prematurely in the end, but it was mentally draining. I'll put it that way. Obviously, the doctor, like with the injections, like I spoke about already a few times, he was great. He was really good, but obviously the situation in Graz probably wasn't quite as prepared for that situation as what maybe there would have been in Cardiff. And Jades did a lot of the treatment herself. The first 5 weeks, the team also came down with COVID, so I was speaking to Danny Moore in Sheffield, getting programs from him and doing a lot of the stuff. And to be fair, I'd probably say 95% of the workouts I did it by myself, and Jade did probably 99.9% of the treatment. So yeah, it was a lot of kind of on your own. I think they thought, yeah, your season's done. That's it. And I just wanted to show them Brits are Brits. We work harder than anyone else. We fight harder to play than anyone else, and we have bigger hearts than any other country in the world, in my opinion. And I think I showed that. I came back way sooner than they expected. And even then, we set a date to come back and just give a chance. And results didn't go well, let's just say. So they asked me to come back earlier, and then Olivier got called back even earlier than that. So my preparation went from 3 weeks to a day. And yeah, came back, got those 2 wins, and then a point in Vienna. And then obviously after that, it kind of started snowballing a little bit, let's just say.
So you come back, you help the team out, as you said. The end of the season doesn't go the way you want, and you get called in to the office and they say, we're not having you back next season. How was that to take? Because that must be the first time it's happened in your career.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was kind of prepared for it. I think with the way things go, they obviously had to be seen to do something. They got rid of a few imports. I think obviously for me, doing what I did to come back like I did, I mean, I only started 12 or 13 games. Even in the qualification round, I started off really well against Innsbruck, had 2 solid games, and then didn't really play again after that. So that was a little frustrating to not really know why you weren't playing and things like that. There's obviously factors that were probably behind the scenes that I'll never really know about, and obviously they kind of touched on them a little bit. But to go into that meeting, I half expected it, but to hear we're not having you back, we're announcing it tomorrow was a bit gutting. But at the same time, I totally understand it. Hockey's a business, and they have to be, when they have a season like that, they have to be seen to do something, and that's exactly what they did.
That said, and with all the problems that you had, I guess A, you wouldn't trade it to do that, and B, you'd like to be healthy, but B, if someone came off and offered you another contract in Europe, would you take it?
Oh, 100%. I'd do it all again. At the end of the day, no matter what's happened, we're lucky. And like I've said this to Jade a million times, in the current situation, in the pandemic, I got to play sport that I love as my job again, and we got paid for it. We didn't have to worry about bills. We didn't have to worry about feeding ourselves. We didn't have any of those money worries. Obviously, there were the physical worries and the mental stresses, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we were fortunate to be in the position no matter what happened. And yeah, I'd 100% do the exact same experience in Graz if I had to. I would definitely change a few things, but no, the exact same, I'd still do it. And again, my aim is to be in Europe again next year. Obviously, with how things happen in the season, it's going to be hard. But at the end of the day, I think the coaches and the GMs out there know exactly what will have gone on. They know the situation, and they'll have seen my performances in the past. So it's, yeah, like I say, it might be harder, but I think the hockey people out there all know exactly that my performances are still good enough to play at those levels.
Away from hockey, what did you miss the most about not being in the UK?
Oh, Probably the beach back in Barry. I just loved obviously going to the beachfront and sitting there with a coffee. The dog loves it there, so it's always nice to see you're always out and about back home. And obviously you miss your family. Obviously they couldn't come out. They couldn't see you. There were plans obviously to come out, and COVID put a stop to that. And I think that was a big thing. Just a little home comforts. You do miss them a little bit, and as it starts wearing on, you do start thinking about it and you start missing it. Yeah, I think, to be fair, it was kind of funny. People ask us what we're missing. We'd always be like, oh, Chinese takeaway or Indian takeaway. It were all the junk food that you'd maybe have once every so often, but once you start wanting it, you start craving it, and they didn't really have that kind of thing out there. So, yeah, it's just little things like that.
How good your German? Was kannst du sagen?
It's terrible. Yeah, no, do you know, there was an old man in our apartment block, and I know little bits. The language we spoke at school was Spanish that I learned, but the people that did well got put in a German class, and I got put in this German class back at school, but they took away a PE lesson, so I was pretty annoyed about that. And I didn't really try too much in it, and signed in grads and thought, well, maybe I should have tried back then in school. So I knew little bits. There was an old man in our apartment block actually. Had a nice dog, always stopped and spoke to you. I managed by the end of it to have little conversations with him, obviously being broken German from my side, or I'd try to say stuff in English and he'd speak slow by the end of it, and I could get away with conversations, but yeah, not very good.
Last thing, World Championships. I mean, this has kind of been your tournament in the last few years with GB especially. There's no relegation this year. Does that almost take the pressure off slightly? I know you obviously want to play as well as you can, but it doesn't realistically matter so much.
I think it swings and roundabouts. Obviously, it depends what mentality we end up taking. I think as a team, we have to forget that there's no relegation. We have to play. We have to prove a point. I mean, if we go and we get absolutely hammered every game by every team and we don't play well, then that old argument will come in that GB don't deserve to be up there. They're not good enough. And we got to remember that we got there on our own merits. We stayed up there on our own merits. We're good enough to play at that level. And I think the objective going in should be to win a fair few games. We've got an opportunity to do that. The guys are fresher than what they usually are. Let's just say that this tournament's been excellent prep for everyone, and I think we have to go in there and we have to, rather than going in with let's kind of damage limitation, we need to go in. Let's make a statement here. Let's win some games. And for me, it's just as much pressure as always. It's just the same objective. I want to give us a chance every game, and obviously I'm going to be playing for a contract somewhere, whether that's in Europe or the UK. I've got to kind of put myself in that shop window again.
Thanks so much for talking to us, and if we can see you do a 200-foot dash to celebrate another overtime winner, that'll be fantastic.
That'd be nice.
Thanks, Ben.